Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Papa T's Kitchen. Well, today I'm going to make some spaghetti and meatballs. The old-fashioned way, of course. I'm going to make the sauce, I'm going to make the meatballs, and I'm going to make the spaghetti. Kind of in steps, so it'll take me a little while to do it. But the first thing I'm going to do is saute some vegetables, not all of them. Some of them I'm going to leave out and add them to my meatballs. Excuse me. Well, first thing I'm going to do is throw a little bit of oil in this pan. Getting a little chillier out there, isn't it? Mornings are in the 50s. In some ways I kind of like it, you know, like it cools off my house a little bit. Well, I went out in the garden this morning and I picked a bunch of peppers, so I got plenty of them. And I grabbed an onion out there. I got mushrooms, chopped up some celery, and some of these hot peppers to go in with it a little bit. And of course, gotta have the garlic, right? Let's throw that right in there. We'll throw that in that pot. We throw in these mushrooms. What else here? I'm going to throw in about that much of I saved some of the peppers to add to the meatballs. In goes the celery. The hot peppers. Ooh. What a pile of vegetables, isn't it? Well, when I make a sauce, I make a sauce, you know. Save them for the other mixture. Now I got about, I don't know, what have I got here? 3.5 pounds of hamburger to make up my meatballs when I get around to it. And this part here will require some stirring, but you know, probably it'd help if I turn the stove on though. It'd probably cook a little faster. My God. Sometimes my brain is right in my ass in the morning. Oh well. I'm a little slow, but I get it done. That's why I don't video the whole thing, you know, because if I did, you'd sit there all day watching me do this, so. You get bored enough as it is. Yeah. Whew. Gotta love them veggies, don't you? Oh, nice and pretty. Now when I make up my meatball mixture, I'm going to use, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I use some breadcrumbs, a couple eggs, and some seasonings. Maybe a little dash of milk now and then. I don't know why I add the milk. I think it's because my mother did. And if Mom did it, she must have had a good reason. Maybe it was to give me some of that vitamin D stuff. I don't know. Could be. Of course, when I grew up here in the 50s, we had milking cows, so we had our own milk. And I'd go out there in the morning and do chores, and I don't know, I think we had 8, 9 cows, and milk those. My mother used to separate the fat and make butter, homemade butter. Of course, we had chickens, so we always had plenty of chickens to eat. Yep, and of course we always had hogs, you know. My father had this big old brown, well, it looks like one of them witches' kettles, you know, out there in the driveway. And when he butchered a pig, he'd get that wood fire going under that thing there, and he would scald them pigs. And when he took them out, he just took that thing right down their backs and he cleaned them right off, slick as a whistle. Best thing about having some butchered hogs around the house is that same kettle there, Dad would cook down those skin on the hogs and make us some old-fashioned pork rinds. Oh my God, those things were good. I could eat 20 pounds of that stuff. By the looks, I guess I already did, so. Now, I don't add any seasoning to this because it's going to get plenty of seasoning into the sauce mix that I'm going to make, and that's going to stew this down even more. And yeah, that's that. Of course, we didn't have any milking machines back then. Everything we did was milk by hand. We'd sit on a stool and throw a pail under her and go to work. Only one thing you had to be careful of, there was one day that I ended up catching some ringworm, you know. Cows had a patch of it. Of course, I was always leaning my head against the cow when I was milking it. Well, I got a big patch of that ringworm right on the side of my head. And the only way to treat it is back in, they used some tweezers, yanked out the hair, then they dumped in some of that Macaracomb stuff. Now, Mr. Bubbly, let me tell you, that'll bring your feet right off the ground in a quick hurry. But, of course, Dad influenced me a little bit by offering me a penny for every clump of hair he pulled out of the head. That sounded like a good deal to me. So I'd save up 10, 12 cents, and when we went down into the village to go to that store, they had that penny candy there. My God, I could buy a whole bag full of that with 10, 12 cents. And ooh, but I don't know if it was worth it or not. I do recall the pain. When we needed haircuts, Dad had these cow clippers that he clipped the cows with. And there was no just take a little off the side. He buzzed it all off, and he said, you got that hair cleaned off the top of your head, boy. You don't have to worry about them head lice getting in there. Well, I said, well, I don't want any of that head lice, that's for sure. My head looked like the top of a smooth pumpkin, I'll tell you. Yep. Didn't get many girlfriends back in them days. There was a young lady down at the farm down about 2 miles. I used to go down and pay her a visit, and we'd sneak out into the hay barn and she'd let me kiss her once in a while. Oh my God, I thought that was about the best thing since sliced bread, you know. Of course, I weren't old enough to understand the rest of it just yet, but I often wondered whatever happened to that girl. She'd be in her 70s if she's still alive. Yep. She was even the same girl that went to the Grange dance there down in the village. And she come over and asked me to dance with her. And I said, well, I don't know how to dance. She said, you just follow my lead. I said, okay. I kind of liked it because I got to put my arms around her there. And I said, oh, this is kind of fun. Love this dancing stuff. Yeah. They don't have them old Grange halls much anymore where you just go to the Grange and used to have the 4-H in there, you know, and all that stuff. We always had plenty to do. Of course, back then we didn't even have a television set, but we did listen to the radio. I think the Saturdays that Gene Autry show was on. We got to listen to that. Then I think there was this fella called Bozo the Clown who used to come on there. Couldn't see him, but listened to him. Yeah, Gene Autry. That was pretty good. Yeah. We weren't milking cows. He made sure we had plenty of other things to do, like split wood or lug wood or some darn thing. Of course, when I was little, I was kind of skinny as a rail, but I had a lot of muscle. Now I just sit in my easy chair and drink my beer. Alright, I'm not going to bore you to death of my jabbing here away. I'll come back when this is sauteed up a little bit before I start my next stage. I will probably put that aside and get my meatballs ready. And like I say, this ain't a simple dump it out of the can and throw some spaghetti on it. If you make the real homemade stuff, it takes you some time. So, but if you like flavor, take your time and make it. If you don't, go down to the store and buy a can of that SpaghettiOs or some shit. I don't know what they call them. I'll be back. Well, I've returned. Get these all sauteed up pretty nice. Yep. So my next step here is I'm going to make up my meatballs. Okay, so like I said, I have about 3.5 pounds of hamburger here. I'll throw half of this in. I'm going to dump in half of my onions, half of my peppers, half of my breadcrumbs. It's about 2 cups there. I got 3 eggs and some milk. Now that's about 1/3 of a cup of milk in there with some eggs. We'll put all of them in. Garlic. Oh, what are meatballs without garlic, huh? Oh my goodness. Don't want to waste any. I got those down to Costco's because they had a pretty good sale on them. Now what did I forget? Oh, I forgot to cough. Salt and pepper. Now my other seasoning in my sauce, of course, will be different. So to get everything, I got the onions, salt and pepper, eggs. Okay, so let's see if I can mix this up. Now I took this out of the freezer yesterday, so it's still a little bit crunchy. But I think I can mix her up. Yep, they're breaking up pretty good. When I get these done, I'll take an ice cream scoop and I'll throw them in the oven at 375. Oh, I don't know, half hour, 3/4 of an hour. We'll see how they do. If I smell them burning, then I'll pull them out. Oh yeah, looking just like canned dog food in there. Yep. I turned it the wrong way again. Now, when did I get this? I think 6 months ago. See what I mean? Mixes it up really nice. All them vegetables mixed in. Be careful I don't drop this. I could use a better one of these pyramid jiggies, you know, that holds on camera. This one's kind of cheap, falls over once in a while. All right, so now we're going to put in the rest of the meat. So I don't miss any. $6 a pound. You probably ought to lick the plate for that. Did you ever eat raw hamburger? I used to eat raw venison once in a while when my father was grinding up some deer. Actually, it had a good flavor to it. I guess if the cave people could do it, we could too, huh? Let's dump in the rest of our breadcrumbs. Hope somebody stops by and does these dishes for me. More peppers. No such luck. And the rest of the onions. Oh yeah. See if I can get this back down there. Turn her on one. Hold her down so she don't fly away. She's definitely working on it. Give her a check here. Oh yeah. Wee, Mr. Bubby. See all them vegetables mixed through that thing? Oh my goodness. That turned out great. Now let's see if I can get this paddly thing off. I almost licked it. I forgot that it ain't frosting. Don't want to do that. Okay. You can see, I think you can see, peppers and onions, and oh, this is going to be good, huh? We're going to bake them right up into nice fat meatballs. Now to do that, I'm going to need one of these thingamajigs here. And I got a piece of parchment paper. Notice how they always like to fall off there when you're trying to work with it. Thought I'd scotch tape it, but that wouldn't be very smart. That'd make my oven smell up really nice and pretty. This is what I'm looking for. One of these thingamajiggies that does ice cream. And we'll make them nice and big. Okay, like a nice, big fat meatball. When you bite a meatball, you want to make sure you got some meatball in your mouth, not all spaghetti. So I fatten this thing right up good shape. Make the jumbo ones. Get 3 across. Well, instead of looking at me, I guess you could look at what I'm doing. Although I am kind of handsome, ain't I? For an old man that's almost 75. Still got all my hair. Yeah. A lot of other things have broken down, but I still got my hair. So that's a nice fat one right there. Yep. If I see they're a little loose, I pack them little. Keep their integrity. Nobody wants a floppy meatball. Told you this takes time, didn't I? I weren't joking. But the reward that I'll get this evening for my supper will be quite grandy dandy. Yeah, plus I'll have plenty of leftovers for a week. Unless I get company. Sometimes I think they can smell the food when they're going by and they just happen to stop by to say hi. I say, no, you didn't. You come by to get some of my food. Oh well. Of course, I'd always give them some. I'm not that they're probably hungry. They just would probably like the taste of it. I'd make somebody a good wife. Nah, I see nothing wrong with male chefs, female chefs. Some good ones, some bad ones. It's a great profession. I'd recommend it. Did it for a good part of my life, and the only problem I have, you know, I'm cooking for just myself. You know, when I was cooking for 6,000 people, it's a heck of a change in the recipe, I'll tell you. You know, if I made a batch of bread, I always dumped in 250 pounds of flour, 36 pounds of salt, 5 pounds of yeast. I forgot how much sugar, but it was a lot. Yeah. And then if the flour had weevils in it, which we used to get out to sea, that particular day we made rye bread. Yeah. You mix the rye right in there, you don't even tell. You cook them up with a little bit extra protein. The Navy didn't waste anything. Of course, we did keep the good stuff out for our cooks. Yep. Okay. We'll turn that up at 375. Put it on bake. Here's the first tray. There. We let that bake, and the only thing I can do now is wait for that to get done so I can do up the next batch of them, because my oven only holds one of them trays at a time. I need another one of those oven racks, you know, that go into these old ovens. The trouble is, the stove is so old, they changed the design of it. I don't know what the hell I did with the other one. Must be I used it for something else. Well, one day I'll find one about the same so I can have 2 shelves in there instead of just one. Save a little on the energy bill. Started my beard there again. It's getting towards winter, so to get towards winter I start growing a beard out for the winter, keep my face warm when I'm out there shoveling snow. I'll be back. All right, folks, where'd we leave off? Oh, I was making meatballs. Well, I got my giant meatballs all done. Cooked them all off. Don't they look good? Got all them onions and stuffing in there, bread stuffing. So, and of course we sauteed the vegetables that I'm going to add into it. As I say, this is not the quick and easy method of making spaghetti and meatballs, but if you want to do it old-fashioned, then this is the way we do it. At least I do. The next thing I got to do is work on my sauce and get started on that. So I got a couple of cans of tomato sauce. What is this? Where are my old man glasses? Here they are. That'll do it. They're a 29-ounce can. And I assume all these are. Here's another can of tomato sauce. I gotta rinse these out because we recycled the metal. Then I got a can of diced tomatoes. Again, it's a 29-ounce can. Throw that in there. Take these off. right here I've got some mustard seed. Throw that in there. Got about a tablespoon of salt over here. I got some Italian, what do you call it? Seasoning. About a third of a cup there. Throw that in there. I'm going to throw in a bit of chili because I like it. I'm going to add a little more garlic. Cumin. I like cumin. So I'll add that. That's about a teaspoon. And these are basil leaves. That in there. Paprika. Now somewhere here I got some red pepper. Right here we got it. I'm going to give it a few shakes of that because I like it on the tangy side. That's good. Everything but the kitchen sink here. And of course we're going to add some more pepper. That looks good. Abracadabra, is that it? Yep. I'll give this a whipping. Now I'm going to simmer this, and I might have to add a little water to it. Maybe not. We don't know. We'll see. There, I got them seasonings whipped in there. Now I'm going to add my vegetables. Nope, throw them all in there. That done. Oh yeah. Now I'll put in what meatballs I can, and what I don't, I'll just leave them out. And after this stage is done, the only thing I got to do is cook the spaghetti. See if you can see it better over here. Give it some whirls. All them mushrooms, onions, and peppers I picked out of the garden. The onion come out of the garden. Yep. We're going to slowly cook this. Put this back over here. Now, need these other grabber thingies. We'll throw in some meatballs. Now these are all cooked about, I'd say 60% of the through, and the rest of it will cook in this pot. That one got a little burn on the bottom, but still no problem. We'll use it. Use it or abuse it. All right, that's all I'm going to put in there. I'm going to give it some stirs. Boy, that's looking good. Whoa. Now I'll put the medium low for the heat. I could put some more in there, but I'm going to wait till it cooks down a little bit, and then I'm going to add the rest of them. And the last stage that I'm going to do, but not now, is cook the spaghetti. But I don't need to show you that. You all know how to cook spaghetti. The only thing that I do a little bit different than other people is I might put a little bit of this olive oil in my water with a dash of salt. It seems to keep it from clinging together so much. Of course, in the old days, what we did is we threw it up on the ceiling to see if it stuck. And if it stuck there, it was done. But the trouble is, you have to repaint your ceiling after a while. All right. So when I get it all cooked and have a plate made up, I'll be back. Well, I finished cooking it. There's the spaghetti. And look at those meatballs in there. Very nice. Little melted cheese on the top. Now I'm going to dig in. Have a great day. Thanks for coming on.